What if pain isn't what you think it is? Most of us spend our lives trying to avoid pain, physical pain, emotional pain, the fear of being hurt. So we protect ourselves. We build walls. We run from failure, rejection, and discomfort. But here's the twist. Running from pain doesn't stop it, it feeds it. Pain is not your enemy, it's a message, it's trying to wake you up. But because we fear it, we never hear what it's saying. In this section, we'll uncover how most people are stuck in a loop, avoiding hurt but never healing. We'll reveal the hidden game that pain plays in your life, and why understanding this game is the first step to becoming untouchable. Not because nothing ever happens to you, but because nothing can control you anymore. We all want control. Control over our lives, our emotions, our future. But what if control is the biggest illusion of all? In this section, we explore how our need for control creates suffering. The mind tries to plan everything, avoid risk, predict outcomes, hold on to comfort. But life doesn't work like that. And the more we try to control it, the more anxious we become. Ancient teachings, from the Stoics to the Taoists, warned about this trap. True peace doesn't come from controlling the outside world. It comes from surrendering the need to control anything at all. This is where you begin to shift from holding on to letting go. Every time you got hurt, you built a little wall. A layer of armor. You told yourself that won't happen again. So you started to hide. You smiled when you didn't feel okay. You stopped trusting. You stopped showing the real you. But here's the cost. The armor that protects you from pain also blocks you from love, joy, and freedom. In this chapter, we take a closer look at the mask you wear, the roles you play, and how piece by piece you lost touch with your real self, just trying to be safe. We'll talk about the false self described by Carl Jung and how healing doesn't mean becoming someone new, it means dropping who you're not. Why? Do we suffer? Not just physical pain, but that deep, silent kind. The kind that shows up as loneliness, emptiness, or never feeling enough. Buddha said all suffering comes from attachment. We suffer when we cling to things, people, identities, outcomes that are always changing. In this section, we'll explore the real cause of suffering. Not what happens to you, but your resistance to what is. We'll talk about the trap of wanting life to go your way and the freedom that comes when you stop needing it to. There's a space inside you that pain cannot touch. It's not your thoughts, not your emotions. It's something deeper, the part of you that simply watches, the witness, the still awareness that sees everything but stays untouched. Mystics, yogis, and saints across time all spoke of this. Jesus called it the kingdom within. The yogis called it the self. When you rest here, nothing can truly hurt you because nothing can shake what you really are. In this section, we'll reveal how to connect with this space, how to observe pain without becoming it, how to live from the center of your being, not the surface. Now you see it, the pain, the illusion, the false self, the deeper truth. But here's the moment that matters most. What will you choose? You can go back to fear, back to pretending, back to control, or so you can step into freedom. In this final section, we bring it all together. We talk about what it means to walk through life no longer afraid of being hurt, not because life is easy, but because you've changed the way you meet it. This is where transformation becomes real. What if I told you that pain is not what you think it is? From the moment we're born, we're taught to fear pain, emotional pain, physical pain, heartbreak, loss. But here's the twist. Pain might feel real, but it may not be true. What if it's just a shadow of something deeper? In this first part, we open the door to a shocking idea. Most pain doesn't come from the world. It comes from the mind, from the way we think, from the stories we tell ourselves, from believing we are our thoughts and feelings. Ancient teachings like Buddhism and Advaita Vedanta have said this for thousands of years. The one who suffers is not the real you. This section cracks open the illusion. If you've ever wondered why life keeps hurting you, this is where that question begins to unravel. It's not just about feeling better, it's about waking up. You're about to discover that the one who hurts may never have existed in the first place. To understand how to become untouchable, we have to go back, way back. Before the world told you who you were, before the fear, before the masks. We look at the moment the ego was born, that little voice inside that says, "This is me." The ego wasn't evil, it was just trying to protect you. It formed to help you survive, to fit in, to avoid rejection. But over time it forgot it was just a mask. And now every time someone rejects you, every time life doesn't go your way, that ego feels like it's dying. In this section, we explore how early life experiences created a version of you that isn't real, but feels very real. We'll touch on Carl Jung's idea of the persona, the fake self we wear to survive. And we'll look at stories like Adam and Eve, not as religion but as symbols of when we left innocence behind and began to feel separate. This is where the pain began, but it's also where healing begins. Here's the secret that can change everything. You are not your pain. You are not your story, not your name, not your past, not even your thoughts. You are something deeper, something untouched, something that has always been there, quietly watching. In this section, we reveal the most powerful truth of all. You are awareness itself, not the person caught in the storm, but the sky that holds the storm. This comes from ancient teachings like neti neti, meaning not this, not that. It's a path of peeling away everything you think you are until only the real you remains. We'll explain how your identity, what you think of as me, is just a bundle of thoughts and memories. But the awareness behind those thoughts is free, untouched, safe, always has been. Once you see this, you begin to understand. If you are not the one who suffers, then nothing can truly hurt you. Think about this. What if the world isn't hurting you? What if it's reflecting you? This idea comes from ancient wisdom. As within, so without. Life doesn't attack you. It shows you where you still carry pain, where you still believe lies about yourself, where you're still asleep. In this part, we explain how the world works like a mirror. People who trigger you, situations that make you feel small, these are not punishments, they're pointers. They show you where your healing needs to happen. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this showing me about myself?" This is where your power begins to return, because when you stop blaming the mirror, you start changing the reflection. Here's something hard to hear, but deeply freeing. Sometimes we get attached to our pain, not because we want to suffer, but because it becomes who we are. It gives us a story, an identity. In this section, we talk about something called the pain body, a term used by Eckhart Tolle. It's the part of us that feeds on emotional pain and keeps old wounds alive. Every time we relive a heartbreak, every time we replay a betrayal, the pain body grows stronger. But here's the truth. You are not your pain. You are the one who can observe it. You don't need to suppress it. You don't need to drown in it. Just watch it. Just feel it, without becoming it. This is how healing happens. Not by fighting pain, but by no longer letting it define you. Every ancient tradition speaks of it, the part of you that can't be touched by fear, loss, or death. In the Bhagavad Gita, it's called the self that cannot be burned by fire or wet by water. In Taoism, it's the nameless source. In Gnostic teachings, it's the light hidden beneath the world. This section takes you deep into the mystery. We explore how beneath all the roles and masks, there is something eternal, something silent, something whole. That's you, not the version that people see, not the one that reacts, but the one that simply is. This part of you doesn't need protection. It doesn't need to win, it just needs to be remembered. When you live from this place, life changes, because now nothing can truly hurt you. Here's the twist. Pain isn't the real problem. Attachment is. When we cling to people, out comes ideas of how life should be, we suffer. Not because of life, but because we can't let go. This idea is central in both Buddhism and Stoicism. Pain happens, but suffering, that comes from resistance, from saying this shouldn't be happening, from trying to control what we can't. In this part, we explore how letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting. Trusting the deeper flow, trusting the intelligence behind life, and trusting that you are more than what you lose. When you stop clinging, pain loses its power. It no longer controls you. It becomes a teacher, not a prison. This might be the most powerful truth of all. You were never in danger. Not really. The fear you felt, the heartbreaks, the losses, they were real experiences, yes. But the you beneath them was never touched. Think of a dream. While you're dreaming, everything feels real, the fear, the joy, the loss. But when you wake up, none of it touched who you really are. This is the same. Awakening is remembering that your true self was never hurt, never broken, never lost. This section brings it all together, not with more thoughts,